Howdy y'all, Wyrm here. Endwalker has been a huge expansion, and it's only gotten started. Along with the locations the main scenario has been taking us to, the expansion's been filled with a number of unique and unusual locations. One near the top of the list for me is the Allagan vessel located on the lunar surface of Mare Lamentorum. In this video, we explore this vessel, learning its secrets and what it could mean for us. First off, let's go with some visual observations. The vessel is clearly of Allagan design, and judging by its construction and outer technology, it's of late Allagan origins, meaning it was built in the Empire's twilight days. In terms of scale, the vessel's not as large as other Allagan vessels we've seen in the past. Given the fact the vessel crash landed on the moon, it's a spacefaring vessel, and the first real evidence of such a vessel we've seen from Allag. Granted, we knew full well that the Allagans were capable of building vessels and structures that could leave the planet. You can take Dalamud as the prime example, but this vessel is the first we've seen of such. Okay, so let's go over what we know about this vessel. The vessel's identification is Heimdall's last sight, as we learned from the Loporrits, and it's a Heimdall class vessel. According to records salvaged from the wreckage, the vessel was launched shortly after Dalamud was placed into orbit of Aetheris. Its primary function was to monitor Dalamud, since Dalamud served one of its two purposes of being a prison for the Elder Primal Bahamut. After the fall of the Empire, Dalamud fell dormant, and Heimdall's last sight became the literal last vigil on Dalamud. It continued this duty without fail until over a decade ago, when the Lesser Moon was reactivated by the Garlean Empire, by way of an Allagan lunar transmitter, which was designed to communicate with Dalamud from the planet's surface. Should you wish to learn more about this transmitter and the story behind its activation, I made a video some time ago documenting this event, and I'll leave a link for it in the comments. The activation of Dalamud was against the set parameters of Heimdall's last sight, which received no such notifications from the ground, and as such, the vessel actually attempted to halt the activation process. It seems though that the Garleans picked up on this, and it's likely they took control of the defences on Dalamud and opened fire on the vessel. The vessel was disabled, and thus was unable to halt the activation and control of Dalamud. Over the next couple of years, Dalamud had its orbit changed and it started to descend towards Aetheris. The vessel, however, drifted in the orbit it was in when it was disabled. In terms of orbits themselves, both Dalamud and the Moon have fairly close orbits to each other. After Dalamud descended to Aetheris and was destroyed when Bahamut broke free, Heimdall's last sight latched onto the gravitational field of the Moon, and after being trapped in its orbit for a number of years, finally descended and crash landed on the lunar surface, roughly 5 years ago from the present. This crash landing had a couple of effects. Firstly, after the landing, the droids and drones that were aboard activated and took up post guarding the crash site, where they remain to this day, ever vigilant of intruders. Given the number of units it deployed, this was likely a force that was designed to be deployed to Dalamud if the need required it. The second and more significant event of the crash was that large shards of the craft drove themselves deep beneath the surface. One of these penetrated the Bestway's burrow into one of the bioplants, which caused a number of spores to escape to the lunar surface. This event escalated when the spores combined with substances from the vessel crash site, and led to the creation of mutated life forms, specifically the Thinker life forms, which are biological, yet have design features of machines or droids. One Loporrit that was exploring the nature of these questions suggested that it may have been chimerical incubation fluid, but given the vessel's purpose, it's unclear why such a substance would be on board, unless there's something inside which we're not aware of yet. The Loporrits themselves have been salvaging parts from the vessel ever since it crashed, using them for a variety of purposes in Bestway's burrow. One such recent find was an Allagan decryption unit, which enables the reading of information stored on Allagan tombstones. Given their dialogue, and the fact that the Loporrits may just indeed be the first beast tribe of Endwalker, we could very well see this subject explored, as they will be in need of tombstones in the near future to decrypt. But there you have it, a history of Heimdall's last sight, and how it ended up crashed on the moon. Thanks for watching everyone. With as many questions as we had answered about this ship, it also brought up many unanswered ones. An example is it possible that there were multiple ships observing Dalamud and are still in orbit of Aetheris? Given they were able to launch a craft like Heimdall's last sight, is it possible the Allagans knew about the moon and Zodiac? And is it possible that the Allagans explored outside our solar system to worlds beyond? Given we'll be exploring much more of Aetheris soon enough, we may find such answers and a lot more questions in places like Mericidia, for example. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more subjects like this, hit that like button and leave a comment with your own opinion on the subject. Also subscribe if you haven't yet to stay up to date on my future videos. Thanks everyone, and now, as always, have a good one.